He walked into jail facing a misdemeanor bench warrant.
I didn't pay my fine. I was homeless. You know, I had no money.
But before he was even booked, this happened. Handcuffed and thrown headfirst into a wall by a jailer.
My head snapped back, and that was it.
Tonight, as the FBI investigates what happened to Jeff Fry inside the Lorain County Jail, Fry is telling his story for the first time publicly to one report.
This story is tough, and it's only gotten more complicated. There's been a major update involving the officers involved, but before we get into what's new, let's take a recap of what unfolded that day.
For Jeff Fry, even sitting in one place,
Sorry, it's got to stretch.
is difficult. His left arm in a sling, he has only partial use of his hands. Nothing like the 58-year-old seen here in surveillance video walking into the Lorain County Jail May 12th. Did you deserve what happened that day?
No.
You get emotional.
Well, of course. Every time I think of it. That's why I try and be happy. Nothing's ever easy.
According to this Elyria police report, officers arrested Fry on a municipal court bench warrant. The report says Fry was under the influence of alcohol, but capable of walking on his own. Jail video shows he's searched, then walked through the jail's Sallyport area. That's when the video shows Fry, who's handcuffed behind his back, briefly turn away from the jailer escorting him. That corrections officer, Brian Tellier, then appears to grab Fry and fling him face first toward a glass wall. Still handcuffed and unable to brace himself, Fry's face and head hit the base of the wall.
Now, see, this is another incident where an officer took a situation way out of proportion. And we just did a video about a couple days ago where we had an officer attempt to run a man over with his patrol car for a failure to appear for driving without a license. Now we have this situation where a homeless man had a misdemeanor bench warrant and he turned his shoulder. He didn't even snatch away. On video, we just saw it together. He turned his shoulder, walking with a little attitude, and the man found it justifiable to take this handcuffed man and slam him face first into a glass barrier. Come on, man. Come on now. I'm not making this up. I'm just bringing it to you to bring light to it. Let's keep going. Let's watch a little bit more of it. We got a major update in this case coming very, very soon. Let's get through this clip, get through this recap. We're going to check out that update.
In his report, that jailer told supervisors because of the, quote, risk of potential escape, he attempted to place Fry against the wall, but that Fry fell due to his intoxicated state. While there's no audio on the surveillance video, Fry says he had no plans to escape.
I was in handcuffs. That's a 15-foot fence, barbed wire. You can't climb a fence like that. And I never jumped before, you know, never ran.
The Elyria police officer who was there reported it appeared as though Fry tripped over his own feet. He noted Fry was mumbling and appeared heavily dazed from the impact. His eye begun to swell and was bleeding from his mouth. Fry says he doesn't remember what happened next, but video shows jailers pick him up and carry Fry, his legs dragging beneath him, into a holding area. Fry says that's where he came to.
And they started talking and asked me how I was doing. I said, I don't know, you just broke my neck.
Despite that, at no time on the video does anyone appear to stabilize Fry's head. Instead, a nurse checks his vital signs. With Fry seated, propped up against a wall, Tellier appears to twice reenact what happened.
That was not a dangerous situation. There was no need to use any force against him.
Civil rights attorney Nick DiCello represents Fry. He believes not only was his client assaulted, officers tried covering it up.
I mean, if those officers were here on this street corner with us right now, and I did something like that to you or to Jeff, I'd like to believe both of them would have me arrested and take me to jail for doing it.
An ambulance was called for Fry, but according to a letter from the jail's administrator, it was not a result of the use of force. Instead, James Gordon told a sheriff's captain it was for Fry's, quote, extreme intoxication and low blood pressure.
So looking at this, not only did they use excessive force against this man, but they also did not render adequate aid afterwards. Then they call an ambulance for a guy's neck that they had just broke, literally broke his neck, called an ambulance for him being overly intoxicated. So not only do we have incompetent jailers, we also have an incompetent police officer who just witnessed this happen and tried to cover up for the jailer, saying that he saw this man trip over his own foot. They also said that he was trying to escape the jail. Then they call a nurse. The nurse couldn't do her job properly because she was also incompetent and couldn't tell that this man had a broken neck. He just woke up from a concussion. They said that his eyes and his face was swelling from the head impact, and no one thought to maybe stabilize his neck during the incident. But it gets deeper and it gets much, much worse. Let's keep going.
Intoxication and low blood pressure. That jail administrator, James Gordon, is Tellier's father-in-law, according to a sheriff's captain. Again, without audio, there's no way to know what that ambulance crew was told about Fry's injuries. But watch what happens as they try to position Fry on the stretcher. Fry says he doesn't remember it, only saw it weeks later on.
Man, do you see this? They're throwing this man's body around like he's a cadaver. They're literally throwing him around like a sack of potatoes, man. Give this man some type of proper care. Keep in mind, his neck is broken. His neck is broke, and they're throwing him around. You got EMTs, jailers, and a nurse, and they're handling him like a sack of laundry. Let's keep going. Matter of fact, no, let's watch that over. Let's watch how they just threw him on that bed one more time.
The ambulance crew was told about Fry's injuries, but watch what happens as they try to position Fry on the stretcher. Fry says he doesn't remember it, only saw it weeks later on video.
I wanted to see what was done to me too. You know, anybody would.
And then when you saw it, what'd you think?
I said, oh my God. And, you know, a few other choice words.
He doesn't understand why this happened.
You'd never get it out of your mind.
And while Fry says he's focused on trying to get back to as close as normal as he can, he also wants accountability for what happened to him.
I don't see how they could, do that to somebody. Just out of humanly respect, just to treat somebody like you could throw him around.
Give him everything he's asking for. Give him everything. Whatever he's asking for, he deserves it, man. This was not called for. This was ridiculous. But before I go on a rant, let's get into that update. Now, they're saying that the the correctional officer involved has been charged.
Tellier wrote that Fry fell and that he guided him to the floor, but a lieutenant didn't buy it. He said Tellier used excessive force and that his report contained inaccuracies. But it took more than 2 years, a $40 million lawsuit filed by Fry, and a new sheriff taking office in Lorain County for this case to finally move forward. But today, Tellier was indicted. He faces felonious assault, tampering, and dereliction of duty charges. Tellier is also charged with 2 counts of endangering children for a separate incident in Elyria last February.
You're telling me that this same jailer is facing child endangerment charges? This is insane. This is a trash bag of a human being.
Investigators say a 6-year-old who Tellier was caring for ate THC-infused gummies and had to be treated at the hospital. As a result of the charges, Tellier was placed on unpaid leave today by the Lorain County Sheriff. He's free on $135,000 bond tonight.
Yeah, man. So this is a case where we have a power-tripping jailer who had a guy shrug his arm away from him, and he found that justifiable to sling a man into a glass barrier and break his neck. And right after that, they didn't even want to render him aid. They called an ambulance and said that he was drunk, and that's why he was reacting the way he was. Not because he was concussed from slamming his head on the wall, but because he was drunk and had low blood pressure. And then they called a nurse to the scene. She couldn't identify that he had a broken neck or that he was concussed, although there was witnesses saying that his eyes and face was swelling, probably because he was borderline hemorrhaging. They then called the ambulance to come pick him up. So now you got an incompetent jailer, a cop that witnessed it all, who made a false report to try to cover the jailer's back, in-house nurse who was incompetent, couldn't do her job, and then you had EMTs show up and they're throwing his body around like he's a cadaver. Man, this is unnecessary and uncalled for. This guy's suing the city for $40 million. Pay the man. I'm sorry, taxpayers. It's time to pay up. It's time to pay up. It is what it is, man. I appreciate y'all for tapping into this video. I'm gonna catch y'all on the next one.